Hello there. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm not very good at YouTube. That sounds dramatic. I'm not great at YouTube. That is a fact, but it's not a big deal yet. It's going to be a big deal. So I'm trying to just sort of deal with it on this channel. So I've got a video on this channel that I produced a couple of days ago. It was just a variety of different things. I'm talking about a couple of different subjects. I'm walking around with my camera. I'm talking on a conference call. I think I'm on the phone with Brian talking about our podcast. Anyway, so it covers a variety of things, and it was sort of this mishmash of different things that happened throughout the course of the day, and I kind of blended them together and made this video, published it, and it has one view. And I think what I'm not too sure about is that me looking at that video? I try to not look at my own videos because I already get low views, and I don't want to look at a video and go, okay, this video has 7 views minus 1, which is me, so it's got 6. Like, I don't want to do that. I want my numbers to be accurate, so I try to not look at them. But I'm like, did I look at this one just to see if the sound was working and that one view is actually me? I actually don't remember, but one view isn't great. So what I want to do is just understand what I can do in those situations to try to boost viewership, engagement, what have you, because I know that when I publish my AI related stuff, that's a lot more meaningful, where views are really going to, I think, motivate me on whether or not I want to continue with it. I want to know, in a case like that where I have a video that's a miss, can I make it better by improving the thumbnail or, improving the video title, the description, what have you? Because I'm not going to go and redo the video. It's either going to land or it's not. So what can I do to at least try to get more people to look at it? I guess that's really my point. Okay, so I've got this title. Remote developer life, demoing code, getting healthy, starting something new, right? Sort of a collection of things that I'm talking about in the video. And I've got my video description. I've got my chapters here. I've got this thumbnail image, which may not be very compelling. It's just a picture of me with my thumb up. It's actually a screenshot from the video itself with a custom background and a border. Title says a good day to be a dev. I mean, again, like, I have no idea if this is good or bad, but it's probably bad. That was sort of my hunch. So I said, okay, well, what kind of help can I get to try to give me, a boost here? Because really, I'm pretty green when it comes to this stuff, and I need all the help I can get, and I'm not too sure what resources I can turn to. I feel like going on Reddit, you get a mix of different levels of advice, looking at what other people are doing. It's like a lot of those people are established already. They have an audience. They can almost kind of put out a video without a thumbnail and get clicks and views. So I ended up turning to AI. I first went to Claude and I said, hey, Claude, can you look at this video if I give you a link and make some recommendations? And Claude tried, but I think what ended up happening was they got blocked. I think that YouTube is actually blocking AI sources from looking at their content. That could be because they're trying to prevent YouTube from being used as a source for machine learning, or I could just be way off here. So, but ultimately Claude didn't work for me, so I ended up going to Gemini. Gemini, if you haven't used it, is the large language model that is provided by Google. It's really, really good, and it gives you access to a number of their models that are really impressive. The first time I started looking at Gemini was when Nano came out, because I had this old image that I wanted to enhance. It was a really old image of a storefront that was taken, I want to say, in probably the 90s. It was really low resolution. It was a photograph that had been converted to digital, probably by a scanner. It just didn't look very good, and I put it in Nano using the Gemini interface, and it looked great. So I have had a lot of really good luck with Gemini, and I figured Google, being part of or YouTube rather being part of Google, I figured that if there were restrictions that Gemini would be able to break those restrictions, and I was right. So I went ahead and I put in a prompt in Gemini. Let me share that with you. Okay, so I said, hey, are you able to examine a YouTube link and help me enhance the video title and the thumbnail to improve its importance? So it sat there and thought about it for a bit. And then it came back with this sort of smart-ass response that I didn't appreciate that says, I cannot directly watch a YouTube video or see the thumbnail image from just a link, as I don't have eyes or a video player in that sense. I'm like, really, Gemini, thank you. But it goes on to say, however, I can absolutely still help you optimize them. If you provide the link or the details below, I can use Google search to find the video's public metadata, or you can paste the specific details for a deeper analysis. Here is how we can work together to boost your click-through rate, your CTR. So it goes on to tell me that it can optimize my title. It can help me generate punchy or high CTR title alternatives. It can analyze my keywords. It could suggest hooks that create curiosity or urgency. And then on the thumbnail, it says, since I can't see your current thumbnail, you can describe it to me, right? And it gives me an example of how to describe it. It says I can critique the composition, I can suggest specific visual concepts that'll pair well, or I can recommend color psychology or facial expression changes to drive emotion, and then content alignment. So it wants to look at my transcript as well. So it says, go ahead if you're ready to start, give me the link. I give it the link to my video, and it processes, and it says, okay, based on the video content, here is a breakdown of how you can optimize the packaging to drive more views, which is interesting because that's exactly what I wanted. The video covers 3 distinct pillars: Salesforce dev work, health and personal life, and getting a new AI podcast venture. The current title, Remote Developer Life, Demoing Code, Getting Healthy, and Starting Something New, is accurate, but it feels a bit like a list. To improve performance, we need to create a hook that makes a viewer feel the need to click to find out more. And that's where I sort of get a little bit fuzzy. Because on my personal channel, on this channel, I don't really care about that. I really just want to be able to feel like I can just brain dump whenever the mood strikes me, switch back and forth to a bunch of different topics. I don't want to have a niche. I want to just say whatever's on my mind. Like, that's what this channel is for, which means I have to sort of get used to this notion of publishing videos that have 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 views at most and may not interest anybody. And because I intend to kind of spread my thoughts around on a variety of different topics, it means I'm never going to have a niche. I'm never going to draw like a specific type of audience to this channel. But that is what I want on the other one. So I feel like I need to learn these lessons so that I can be more effective at YouTube, where those kinds of things are going to be important to me on other channels. So let's go back to this answer. So it's saying to me, title strategy, specificity versus curiosity. Starting something new is a bit vague. It works better if you tell them what is new or create mystery around the career move. Also, leveraging the Salesforce keyword can help with search traffic, which is probably a good point, but I don't know if I want my professional Salesforce related life to blend in with this channel. So it goes on to give me examples. Option A, the SEO and career focus. So this is good for search. And it gives me an example: day in the life of a Salesforce dev, sprint demos and new ventures, remote dev vlog, surviving agile sprints, and pitching an AI podcast. Like, I look at that title and I'm like, that is freaking long. Is that like really going to be good? But that's what it's suggesting. So that is one option that we could try. Option B is the trending topic focus, high CTR potential. Why I'm launching an AI podcast, and then remote developer life in parentheses, vibe coding and Salesforce, my plans for 2026. I think that's the title that it's suggesting. It has this note that's also italicized in parentheses. I don't think that they're suggesting that that's part of the title. I think this is the title. And then they have an additional note. You mentioned vibe coding and you mentioned AI in the call with Brian. These are huge trending keywords right now. Putting them in the title can attract a broader tech audience, which is true, but I'm not sure I'm trying to draw a tech audience to that video. It's really just a video of me doing random stuff throughout the day. I want to know what I need to do to bring more views to it, but I don't know if I actually truly want more views to it. So that's an interesting thought. Mentioning those trending keywords like in your title, I guess what it's saying is that's really helpful. So that's something to note. Option C, the story, the personal focus, life after code, why I'm starting a new project, the reality of remote work, demos, health, and side hustles. It really doesn't go on to say why that's a decent option beyond just telling me that, there's more of a personal focus here. And since it's a personal blog, that might be what I end up going with. So we'll see. We'll see if that gives me more clicks and views. The thumbnail concept. So it can't actually see the current thumbnail. So that's a bummer. But it does recommend avoiding a simple screenshot of the webcam or of the street. So it is a simple screenshot of the webcam. It's me thumb upping the camera when I get like the answer from Brian that I wanted on the phone call. So they're saying that's not good enough. Or they're at least saying we can do better. So concept one is the split life, work versus passion. Visual, split the screen in half diagonally. Left side, a shot of you at the computer, maybe looking stressed or focused, with a Salesforce Cloud logo or code on screen. The right side, a bright outdoor shot of you walking from the vlog segment, or a graphic representing the AI podcast. The text should be simple, according to this example: sprint day or new project. So that's the first concept, not even close to what I'm doing right now. Concept number two is the tech focus. A visual is a close-up of you talking on the phone from the end segment or looking at the camera. Okay, that's what I have. The background, fade in an AI robot graphic or a retro 90s aesthetic referencing the movie theater project you mentioned, which is kind of interesting because the visual is a close-up of me on the phone with my thumb up. And then the background, we'll go back to it and look real quick. It's not a fade in of an AI robot or a retro 90s aesthetic. Exactly, not exactly, but kind of. If you look at my thumbnail, I'll bring it up so you can kind of see it, but I'll open up Photoshop so you can see it there. That'll really give you a good sense of what it is. So we're looking at it now in Photoshop, and what it actually is here's the close-up of me, right? Giving the camera a thumbs up. That's a screenshot right out of the video. And then in the background, I actually do have a screenshot of the 90s movie theater that I referenced in the phone call with Brian that I ended up enhancing to using AI tools. So in a way, it kind of is a 90s aesthetic. It's probably not what they are suggesting, but in a funny kind of way, it is that. This is a movie theater that I worked at in the 90s in the background from a photo that I enhanced using AI. So the thumbnail needs some work, and there are a couple things that I can try. So good to note. Let's move on to the description and the tags optimization. It says that the description should front load the keywords. The first two lines: join me for a day in the life of a remote Salesforce developer. Today I'm demoing a new checkout feature, discussing agile sprints, and pitching a new AI podcast about vibe coding and creativity. So it's basically saying, hey, you got yourself a description, maybe front load that description with exactly what's going on in the video so that it's pretty clear to the reader early on what's going on. And then the keywords to include, and it gives me a variety of different keywords to focus on. And then the content highlight, the hook. You have a really interesting segment around 7 minutes and 50 seconds where you talk about using AI to recreate a 90s movie theater. Yes, it says, pro tip in the feature, putting a visual of that 90s theater result right at the start of the video, like as a 5-second teaser, would be a massive hook to keep people watching. For this video, you might want to create a YouTube short from that specific phone call segment to drive traffic to the main video. That's an actually interesting tip if I were trying to establish different goals for this video. I think that's a really good idea. That's just not really what I want that video to be about. But that is good to note. I feel like that's a really interesting and helpful suggestion for future content on different channels. Anyway, I feel like this gave me a lot of helpful stuff to go in and make modifications to that video. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make changes to my last video and see if I can use at least a few of these things to drive more views. Right now, I've got 1 view on that video. If I make, and it's been like that for days. So if I make a few changes and I get, say, 2 views, I'll consider that a win, and I will consider that, I don't know, I guess a moderate success. So anyway, I found this fascinating and I wanted to share it. I wanted to kind of just document that I was going to do this before I actually did it, and figured it might be interesting for me to kind of look back on this in the future and say, hey, remember that one time that I had that video, and then I did that next video where I talked about how the previous video sucked, and then I made some changes and it sucked less. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. That's really the basis of this video and the only reason I wanted to chat with you at the moment today. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you did, we'll see. If you don't, it means I need to optimize my title and my thumbnail. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the next one.